For as long as I could remember, whenever I tried to actually wake up and apply myself in the mornings, it just seemed like I couldn't do it. I would wake up really late, especially during school days when I would stay up until 11, 12, 1 a.m. playing video games or doing whatever else I was trying to do. I couldn't find the strength to focus in the mornings and get work done. I was going through my morning with no clear sense of what to do next, and then I would go throughout the rest of my day feeling tired and lethargic, and I just couldn't focus on anything, so I decided not to apply myself on anything else. Now I have a step-by-step process to make me feel awake, wake up on time, and get good habits in. I have many different long-lasting streaks and different habits like journaling, meditation, stretching, and more by using this step-by-step process. So I would wake up and I would throw myself to the side of my bed with my eyes barely open. You want to know what I do? I open TikTok on my phone and I start scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. Now half an hour has passed since that time. For years, this is how my morning looked. I didn't get up and do schoolwork. I sat on TikTok and kept scrolling and scrolling and scrolling until finally I got up and maybe ate a little bit of food, played some video games. Simply because I didn't know the crazy importance for having a good structured morning routine. One of the most crucial reasons you want to have a morning routine is so that way it can give structure to your day, and then you don't have to go thinking what do you have to do next. Well, should I do this? Maybe I should do this. This allows you to know exactly what you're going to do next in your morning, providing you consistency throughout your life, making it much easier for you to do what you want to do. Then you can get right into work with full mental energy and focus. This is what helped me change from that lazy guy starting his morning with scrolling on TikTok constantly to a hard-working man with a structure to his day. Another reason why having a morning routine is very important to your success, because it allows you to get good work and good habits in that will strengthen your mind and body. I used to never be able to continue my good habits. After a few days, I just wouldn't be able to do it again. And I kept persisting, but with no luck. Imagine you were trying to do a few simple things, then all of a sudden you forget and the day passes. All right, the next day comes, I'm gonna do it. All of a sudden, it's the next day in the blink of an eye. And you still haven't done any of these good habits you said you were gonna do a few days before. Well, a morning routine will help with that and help with your consistency in these good habits so that way you can strengthen your mind and body without having to worry about what you're gonna do next or thinking about doing it again. It makes it much easier for you to follow and stick to those habits. Now you are starting to understand some of the importance to having a good set morning routine for every one of your days. Before I give you the contents of the morning routine, I'm going to give you something you can do right now to 100 times the efficiency of this routine. What I'm going to have you do is grab a piece of paper. Then at the top, you are going to write down each habit that I tell you to do as I tell you to do them. Then on the sides, you're going to write the dates of when you do those habits in that morning. This will give you an idea of what your morning routine checklist and tracker are going to look like. So you can keep yourself accountable and remember what you're going to do next instead of having to use your mental energy to think about, am I supposed to do this or am I supposed to do this? Well, maybe I could do this. Just look at the list and follow it. But don't write anything yet. I'll let you know when to start writing the routine so you can have it as optimized as possible for your own success. It's getting hot. So back to the video though. I'm going to give you the blueprint for the step-by-step process I have created for my morning routines. First, we're going to go into how you should incorporate working into your mornings. What you can do is get up, make your bed, and then go straight to work. The other option, which is instead, once you wake up, do these few good habits that I'll explain that you need to do, and then maybe a few other ones that you choose to do yourself. Then get straight to work. Each time, you want at least 90 minutes of uninterrupted, productive, deep work. I prefer the second option, but if you are low on time, like I am now personally with school, I would go with the first option so you can make sure you get your work done so you can make progress in whatever you're trying to specifically work towards. Now I'll go over the reasons why both can be beneficial for you throughout your day. First, doing your work immediately will mean your brain is fully charged and ready to go with not a single ounce of your mental energy wasted on anything else. Second is doing good habits, then doing your work. This can be a good structured start to your day and push you into a flow state, or at least facilitate a flow state in workflow. Now that we have the blueprint for the routine, I'm going to explain to you the step-by-step process that I've used to make all of this progress and actually see some sort of results. First, waking up. This is of course the most obvious thing. To optimize this, you have to wake up around the same time every single day because your body needs a consistent sleep schedule. I've found that the best times to fall asleep and wake up are roughly 9 to 10, maybe 11 p.m. to about 6 or 7 a.m. Because if you look, the sun would be setting around those times, setting and rising around those times. Right before that, or around that time, is when melatonin will be produced. This is like the chemical or hormone or whatever. I'm not really a scientist, but I've just done a little bit of research about this to kind of know what I'm talking about. Has been produced or being produced in your brain, and that is like the sleep chemical that makes you want to fall asleep. And if you think about it, it takes a lot of time to evolve and change as an entire species. So our brains haven't changed very much. And if you follow these basic evolutionary standards, you're gonna live a much more enjoyable and happy life than if you were to stay up until 1 in the morning, 4 in the morning or something like that, then wake up past noon. Next is making your bed. Your brain is starting off the day with something it doesn't want to do, meaning that you're starting your day with the act of discipline. This act follows you through the rest of your day, making it easier to do things, especially when you don't feel like doing them. Next is 3 to 4 habits at most. This is how many I have found you should have in the morning for optimal success, and especially if you're just a beginner starting with routines and systems, you probably want to go with even 2, maybe 3. And I think 3 is a little bit pushing it. This is so that way you can stay consistent and it's not taking too much time away from your work. Also so you can progressively overload these habits. Just like in the gym, when like one shoulder press or bicep curl, then you do another one, you do another one and another one. That's how you gain strength in your body. Well, this is how you gain strength in that skill of that habit, by doing a tiny bit more, and a tiny bit more, and a tiny bit more each time. And then eventually you'll be much better at that habit than you were before. Now I'm going to give you the most important but non-negotiable habits you have to see success or optimal success with this routine in your morning. There's 2 major habits. First, number 1 is seeing the sun first thing in the morning. This is kind of like a part of the cycle of your circadian rhythm. Us, or our ancestors, would see the suns in the morning. They would wake up, walk out of their cave, and see the sun shining down on them. And then this is what our bodies have gotten used to as we've evolved over time. This helps our alertness stay high, and so we're ready for the next parts of the day. Number 2, the second non-negotiable habit you have to have is either a cold shower or cold bath. This is very important because this spikes dopamine, right? It goes from your baseline. You have a normal set baseline of dopamine, which is kind of like your happy, motivation, movement chemical in your brain. And this spikes it, like some bad habits you might have heard do, but instead of dropping and going back down and staying below baseline, it goes up, stays there, it's riding there. And then it goes back down, but it just goes right back to baseline. So you have hours of improved cognitive function and motivation to move and get work done, as well as a higher level of alertness and focus. Now, how you're going to want to structure this is you got waking up, and then you have making your bed. After that, there is seeing the sun and taking a cold shower, and then the 2, maybe 3 other habits you want to choose to do. I recommend 2. Ones I would recommend to start off are meditating and reading. And then this brings me into the next part of it, doing some deep work. This will be right after that last habit you just did. Because I'm in school and I have less time, I'll do 60 minutes instead of 90. But I recommend doing more if you have more time and you're genuinely not crunched on time. Doing deep work right in the morning is essential because it allows you to pour all of your mental energy into this task without having to spend it on the other tiring and stressful tasks throughout your day. And you'll get into a flow much easier because you don't have as much decision fatigue from, like I said, those stressful things that you had to do throughout your day. If you want to know more about decision fatigue and what that is, I've created a video I'll put as a card wherever it'll be. Especially now because you have all of your mental energy saved up, you want to do what's called the eat the frog task. This is where you're doing the most important, urgent, and difficult task that will give you the most results or rewards for either your business or whatever your goal that you're trying to achieve in the long-term future. Now is breakfast. You are eating last because when you eat, you'll start to feel maybe a little bit tired and lethargic because your stomach's kind of like a little bit bloated, especially if you're eating carbs and all the blood's trying to flow there to help your digestion out. You want to hold off on eating and pretty much go on a water fast throughout the start of the morning so that way you have that high alertness and focus on whatever you're trying to achieve and make progress in. Real quick, I'm going to recap. First, wake up. Next, making your bed. Third, you're going outside and getting sun all over your skin. Next, you come back inside, take a cold shower, do a few good habits, do a bunch of work, and eat some food. If you want a Google Sheets version of this, I have a link to that in my Discord server that'll be the top link in the description. There's that and so many other things that you can use to jumpstart your self-improvement, as well as weekly self-improvement coaching calls, random coaching calls that just hop on, advice from me. For all that, click the first link in the description and join my Discord server now. Now I'm going to share with you some common beliefs people might have and you might have about why you shouldn't follow a morning routine, and then I'm going to explain why that belief might not make as much sense as you previously thought it would. First, you have too much going on. So a morning routine would be too hard because you have too much going on. Take a second to use some critical thinking. Well, why do you have a morning routine set in the first place? It is to make your life easier so you can save energy to do other harder things. So this shouldn't make your life harder, and it shouldn't mean you have too much going on. You just need to switch up your priorities and prioritize the thing that you know will make you succeed. All you're doing by telling yourself too much is going on, so it would be too hard and you shouldn't do it, is limiting your ability to see progress in this routine and actually make progress on what you have been looking to make progress on, or potentially even find something because you might be a little directionless on what you want to achieve. To destroy these limiting beliefs, you have to reframe your mindset by making yourself think and know that a morning routine is good to have because it'll make your life easier so you can do other things that may be harder throughout the day. The next belief you may have yourself come across is, I don't need a routine because I'll remember everything anyways. Now this one makes even less sense, but let me break it down for you. I'm sure that you won't remember everything because I have been there before trying to form good habits, and maybe you'll remember even 80-90% of the time, which is super unlikely, but let's say you do. There are going to still be a few little mishaps that might happen, and let's say you remember all the time. While having it written down We'll make it so you don't even have to waste mental energy remembering, so that way you can start doing other work and get stuff done. Back to my previous point, when you were trying to create good and new habits and routines, you won't remember because you haven't even formed the habit yet, let alone automated it, so that way your brain consistently knows what to do. Brain energy that this takes to remember, even if you do, is foolish to use because you can spend that on so many other more valuable things than trying to remember the next step of the process of your new routine or habit you want to implement. This will make it less overwhelming and less stressful, so it's easier to do these habits now, in the short term, and in the long term. For these limiting beliefs and a lot of stuff about mindset, this all comes down to critical thinking. And if you can improve your critical thinking, that'll make all these things so much easier to implement because you're going to be able to start to break those limiting beliefs that you might have. And I'm saying this because I'm going to give you an actionable step that you can do right now to see instant progress and get a fast win. So that way, you're a little bit more hyped up and you think, yeah, maybe I actually can do this. Take a piece of paper or a notebook, anything that you can write with. Then write down why you don't follow a morning routine. Ask yourself this question and start asking yourself other questions to figure out why you believe that you shouldn't follow a morning routine. This can be applied to a lot of other things, but I'm bringing this up so that way you can see progress instantaneously for this video. Then you want to start to try to figure out, where does that belief actually stem from? Is it your own, or is it something that's been placed on you by other people? Once you start to do this and truly take the time to do it, you'll start to realize that a lot of these beliefs that you thought were like concrete in your brain weren't even yours in the first place. This will start to break a lot of these limiting beliefs, impeding your ability to make progress and become successful. I can't stress enough that these limiting beliefs that you have are essential to break so that way you can actually see progress. Because if you don't take the time to be vigilant and introspective, which if you don't know what those words mean, well, I don't know, search them up or something. But if you don't take the time to actually have those character qualities and spend some time really thinking on these beliefs, then I'm sorry to break it to you, but you're not gonna really find progress in much of anything because you have these beliefs holding you back from actually taking action, making progress, and staying disciplined so you can have the determination to get this stuff done. I've heard people and I've had people tell me that they don't want to follow routines because they don't need to. But in reality, if you don't feel the need to follow a routine, you're just lazy because you must not be doing enough work to even need to follow a routine. And I have a suspicion why that is. It's because over time we've let our brains almost trick us into thinking that it's alright to go sit down and indulge into these bad habits like playing video games and those other ones that you know what I'm talking about. So imagine you go sit down and then you're just playing some video game, watching and mindlessly scrolling on YouTube or something and say, oh, I don't need to follow a routine, and I'm too good for that. It just doesn't make sense. And you're doing these other clearly bad things, even though bad is subjective, with your time. And if you don't have the determination to follow a routine, then you're not going to have the determination to follow through with even, imagine just the short-term tasks that you have to get done for your business. Well, if you don't have the determination to reframe your mindset so that way you can become successful, what makes you think that you have the determination to follow through with daily tasks for your success or whatever you choose to do? If you can't have the determination to just do a little bit of mindset reframing and start to follow a routine, then you do not have the determination to follow through with being disciplined so that way you can achieve what you want to achieve. Another thing I hear pretty often is, yeah, I'm not gonna do it right now, but I'll probably do it later. First, probably, maybe, these words are words of people who pretty much have commitment issues. If you have a problem committing to something, you're gonna go probably, maybe, something like you're gonna do something along those lines. So that way you don't have to commit to yourself and you don't have to commit to other people that you're gonna do something. Even though if you're saying, oh, I'll probably do this and I might do this, and you've already sat and thought about it and know it is good for you, then you are just struggling to commit because your brain doesn't have enough discipline to do things in the future and give yourself future successes by sacrificing stuff now. Specifically with this, I want this to lead into people talking about, oh yeah, I'm not gonna do what you're saying right now, but I'll do it later. You're not gonna do it later. I've been in that same situation before. Do it right now so you can guarantee your future success, because you won't actually do it later. Your brain is trying to get out of being disciplined so that way you don't have to do those hard tasks that I am telling you to do. Now I'm going to go over the exact mindset you need to see as much progress and results as you can with this morning routine. Having a good mindset is valuable because it gives you the ability to reap the rewards of these good habits and routines or systems that you've been trying to set in place by learning from people like me, so that way you can have a direction and clear purpose to what you're doing in your life. You are going to want to have what is called a growth mindset. I'm going to explain to you so that way you have a complete understanding of what that is and how not to fall into the other mindset that many people do, which is called a fixed mindset. Essentially, the difference between a growth mindset and a fixed mindset is that a growth mindset is where you have the freedom and ability to grow when faced with challenges, obstacles, failure, and really any difficult situation that you find yourself in your life, because your mind has an underlying understanding that when you go through difficult situations, you are ultimately going to grow as a person, because difficulty and challenge is what makes people grow. On the other hand, a fixed mindset is where you are limiting your own self-growth because you need the immediate validation and attention from others to give you approval to grow, instead of going on your own and improving yourself without the approval or attention from other people. You'll avoid all these things mentioned, these different kinds of hardships, because you have an underlying belief that you need approvals from others to grow. I'm going to teach you how to apply this growth mindset to this morning routine so you can actually see results in what you are doing. First, the most important thing is to understand why you are doing this morning routine and why is it so important to keep following it. I'll give a brief explanation now, but if you completely forgot, which, I mean, it's alright, this video is really long because I want to stress that every little tiny little autistic detail so that way you can see a whole bunch of progress and you know exactly what to do on your journey to success. So this is important because this routine allows you to reap the benefits of making good habits, following routines, staying disciplined, and overall becoming a better person by strengthening your mind and body. You need to have at the forefront of your mind that challenges and hardships are what make you grow as a person. By doing this, this allows you to make progress even when doing the routine gets a little bit difficult because you're either on a time crunch or whatever else that may be. Of course, you're going to make slip-ups, but don't let that get you down. You need to come back to this forefront belief in your mind that pushing through these challenges and hardships are what is going to give you the biggest return on your investment in the short and long term, which I know is pretty hard because I've made the mistake of making mistakes instead of previously learning from someone at least a little bit more wiser or experienced. This leads into my next point, that you need to stay disciplined in order to have a good mindset and find improvement through this routine. For a short summary of what discipline is, it is where you do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like doing it. And each time you do this is like doing one rep of a bicep curl in the gym or shoulder press, and you do a little bit more and a little bit more hard work each time, and you'll end up developing this skill and character trait of discipline. And then you apply this into your mindset going into this routine. And this is very essential because when you apply this, you are guaranteed progress in this morning routine and the rest of your life. To summarize the mindset that you need to have in this routine is first that you want to have a growth mindset where you tackle challenges because you know ultimately that these challenges are what are going to make you grow the most out of anything else you can do. Next is staying disciplined because this gives you the ability to follow the morning routine, especially when you don't feel like doing it. You might be thinking that you don't want to take the time to apply this because it's too much work and it's not that much needed. But trust me, I have gone through the trials and experience to know what I am talking about works, and I've talked to other high-level people about this same topic. You want to take sacrifice in the immediate future and now, so that way you can see benefits for your future self in the long term, so you can reap the rewards of your success that has been able to compound because you have taken these sacrifices right now. And then stop giving into this instant gratification and then start to delay it, so that way you can now actually implement this mindset so you don't have any of these more limiting beliefs. Oh, I'll go do this, I'm not going to take action now. Take action right now so you have a direction to where you are going, so you can get from this first point to this next point of becoming successful. I know this is a lot to take in, and it may be somewhat difficult to apply these things. After, of course, watching this entire video, you have done the things I've said, or right after the video you are going to do the things I've said, I have one more thing for you to do. What you want to do is go back to the start of this video, play it at 2x speed, and write down 3 to 5 main concepts that you have found. Under one of those concepts, have multiple bullet points explaining them in detail for you. Then recap that either in a video, teaching somebody else, or talking to yourself, because recapping is one of the best forms to actually understand and internalize what you have previously learned. To be 100% honest, I do want you to do this for your own benefit, but I also do want to get more watch time. The reason I want more watch time is so that way I can help other guys like you, and like how I was just very recently, succeed and see this video so that way they can start to implement my advice into their life. I want to reach and give value to as many people as I can, and this is one of the best ways for me to do it. Now imagine you stuck with just this one routine and these few good habits that are inside of it. How even over the next couple months, years, even a decade, this will compound and improve your life. Imagine that and how different of a person you will become. If you have found this video useful in any way, or you just like my personality and you want to see more from me, then subscribe and please like the video and comment the most valuable part, so that way this can be pushed to others so they can find this same value. And again, don't forget to subscribe, join my Discord server for so many things that will help jumpstart your self-improvement, and specifically so you can talk to other guys that are similar in this maybe sort of directionless or just not quite content self-improvement journey. Thank you guys for spending your own time and watching. I really, really appreciate it. And I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.